I would like to start with a big thank you to all of the speakers for today's session because they found time in the summertime that is very, very cruel for us. And they found time to present their good cases. So today we will have three presentations from three countries regarding electrification of transport sector. And I would not want to prolong, so we will start with Dr. Stefan Baliszewski from Fraunhofer Institute with presentation on e-mobility service operation. Dr. Stefan, do you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you very much. Hopefully you hear me too.
Yes.
Okay, so I will share my presentation for you. Oh, where is it? This one. So I hope you can see the screen. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for a friendly introduction. As you know right now, my name is Stefan Baliszewski. I'm with the Fraunhofer Institute in Magdeburg and doing my research related to electric mobility and also electrical energy storages. And today I want to share some information with you, some knowledge about what we call a mobility as a service operation, maybe some background information. We always have a look on the mobility sector from the grid point of view. So we are not that much interested in the driving aspect of electric vehicles, but on how we can integrate the charging units and so on into the grid and what maybe can help us integrate the vehicles in our electrical system. So yeah, what we will see today is here on the agenda. I want to start with a brief introduction, some motivation and so on, so general things. And then we will cover some challenges of grid integration from electric vehicles. I've brought two examples here, the overloads and the voltage range deviation, and try to explain what is yeah, the problem with these things. And based on this, we try to to show some services that electric vehicles might provide to overcome these challenges. And at the end, I will show you a way for a technical realization of those things. Yeah, as you all know, we have some environmental matters that are forcing us to think about how we produce the energy, electrical energy, most of it. And yeah, here in the chart, there's an example of so the particulate matter, so some pollution that comes into our air, mostly by cars, but also by other power plants that are working with fossil fuels and so the conventional energy production. And I think everyone knows that those particulate matter is quite harmful for people living in the red and yellow areas. What we can also see here is that it's quite local problem, let's say. So in the north of Germany, the concentration of those particulates is much lesser than in the big cities like Munich or Berlin. So it's a very located problem that we have to cover. But there's also the global point of view. yeah, where we are talking about the carbon dioxide, say pollution, and the nitrogen that will force global warming. So that is a problem every one of us will have. Yeah, not only people in a particular area, and we have to think how we can change our energy production in case, yeah, to overcome these problems. And the solution to those problems is generally the use of renewable energy sources. We will see a big change in the energy sector all over the world in case of utilizing those energy sources. And this will also take part in the mobility and transportation sector, because as I already mentioned, the vehicles, the conventional vehicles, are part of the problem, because they bring those carbon dioxide and particulates to the air. So the change to a green mobility is closely related to electric vehicles that are driven by renewable energy sources. Here in the chart below, we see the number of electric vehicle registrations in Germany, and it's clearly seen, yeah, that we have a big rise in the past years, and rapidly growth of electric vehicles in the past. So this helps us to understand the points before. Yeah, if we are talking about integration of electric vehicles, we have to ask ourselves some questions how we can do this, and this is mostly related to the charging units, and the energy demand, of course. We have a lot more energy to provide if we want to electrify our mobility and transport sector, and we have to think about where we can get this energy from. And also we have this problem of the driving ranges. So most electric vehicles have a limited driving range, a little lesser than conventional vehicles, and so we have to think about where we have to put charging stations, how many are needed, and in which power class, and so on, in order to have a good electrification of the whole sector and make e-mobility usable for everyone. So the main question in this case is, does our infrastructure that we already have, so the electrical grid in Germany in this case, does it match with the needs of the charging stations in case of power and energy demand? Here we see another chart which represents the share of electric vehicles in Germany from all the cars, and it's here we will see that this part of e-mobility is seen to be rising even more in the future. So let's take a deeper look into this grid integration problems. Here I brought to you some basic grid configuration. It could be some street or some lane in the city where we have a few households connected to one supply line. And every household has his settled power demand. In Germany, from the laws, it's only 15 kilowatts. That is the minimum, but more common, it's about 40 kilowatts that we have for every household here, and that are the numbers our grid is built for. But what happens if we add electric vehicles to this? So say here we want to use the cars with state-of-the-art technology, in this case, charging technology. And this means we will add another 11 to 22 kilowatts for this, the charging station for only one car in this case. And I think you can imagine that this will little loading for the grid. And if we add another cars to the other households, this can lead to a big overload in this grid section, even if we have only if we're talking about only one car per household. Most people, most families, they have 2 cars. And in this case, we have almost doubled the power per household that is needed. This can happen very quickly if all the people are buying electric cars, and we cannot strengthen our grid in the same speed as we are installing those cars. So the customers, to sum it up, they prefer the high charging power because they want to use the car as much as they can and don't want to spend a lot of time charging at home, even if it's possible during the night. We can clearly see that our infrastructure is not ready at the moment for this big loads. So the potential for overload is very high, especially in the rural grid areas. So where we don't have a lot of lines, and so on. And if we can have a look in the future, this problem is meant to be increasing because the requirements for charging power will not go down in the future. And so now we can say that is only a problem. Oh, sorry, it's only a problem if we use these high charging powers, and we can also think about using only single-phase charger at home. Because people are charging their cars over the night, so charging time is not that big deal. We have enough time during the night, but even this can lead to some problems. If we have a single-phase charger with 3.7 kilowatts, here we will cause some unbalance at the connection point. And of course, this in every household, if we are talking about everyone having electric vehicle, and this will lead to a big unbalance at the grid connection point. I will show you some simulations on the next slide where we can prove this. So even the single-phase charging needs to be considered when we are talking about an all-electric transportation sector. And because these single-phase chargers can lead to an unbalanced grid, and therefore we cannot use the whole grid capacity, and we will lose some sorts of utilization here. And if we're talking about these unbalances, we will see some voltage problems, of course, here also in the weak grid areas first. So let me prove this with some simulation results. We have done simulation with the grid you can see here with a number of electric vehicles. So there are different case studies be done, but that's not the point I want to show. Well, we considered the appearance for the car. So when do the people go to work and when do they come back? Yeah, you can see from the chart below. Yeah, the average people, they have these 9-to-5 jobs. So most people are coming back around the same time in the evening. And if everyone is putting their car to the charging station, this can lead to some problems. Here we have a chart of so-called the voltage unbalance factor. Yeah, so that's a number to show the unbalance in the grid. This is only for one car charging here. And as you can see, beside AM, we have a big rise in the voltage unbalance factor when only one car is charging. And you can imagine that this will be even more crucial when we add all the blue and the red cars that are located here in the grid sector. So we need to consider this cause. Even with one car, we are close to getting out of the grid loss, and this will be even more crucial with more cars. So we have to think about how we can overcome this problem, and maybe if we can use the car to provide some services, and not only being the reason for the challenges here. And therefore, some auxiliary services are needed. Put the slide here with the services that we have in Germany, and most of these are the same in other European countries. And in one of our projects, we thought about additional services, what we called here the advanced services that might be provided by electric vehicles, to strengthen the grid. And so the cars can be the solution to some problems and not only the reasons. But if we want to utilize the cars and their power electronics, their storages, so the energy here as a flexibility option, we cannot only put the car to the grid, so connected electrically. We have to think about the information side here because we want to use this. So in general, we have the charging station here, the electric vehicle supply unit, and we connect these to our cars. So we have an information transfer on the basic or an advanced level here to the car, and inside the car it's mostly the charger that is interesting for us. With this configuration, we can use the car on a local level. So most of the charging stations, they have two connection points, so we can think about services provided from one car to each other, or we can build the bigger picture and connect all the charging stations to a global electric energy management system that so that we can use also other cars connected to the charging stations in different locations, and pool a lot of cars to have a higher power, and so a higher influence to the electric system. So I want to go a little into detail at this point. We divided those services in three stages. The basic one, we call it the integrated service. So what we have seen on the slide before, when we only connect the car to the charging unit. In this case, we have the metering information from the electric vehicle supply equipment, so the charging station. And as I already said, we can provide local services. Yeah, for example, we can balance the two cars against each other, and use the power capacities in the best way in order to not overload our grid. Yeah, so we don't have to charge both cars with maximum power. Yeah, but we can set the charging power related to some background information. For example, when the car is mean to leave the charging station, and we can slow down the charging process or even speed it up if the car is needed much quicker. Yeah, this has the advantage that it's no external communication is needed for this. So it's in case of resilience, it's one of the best solutions we can imagine. But on the other hand, this whole services is limited to one specific charging station, because we only have information located at this charger. But nevertheless, we can perform a lot of services. Like I already said, we can provide the load balancing here. And if we think about the voltage imbalances caused by single chargers, which we have mostly in the hybrid vehicles, we can also provide some phase shifting here from one car to another, to have a more balanced power transfer here. And we can also think about stabilizing the voltage by not only using active power from the charger, but also set some reactive power that we can provide to the grid by the charger, or adopt from it. Yeah, the next service, the next stage can be called a local service. Yeah, so based on the service before, we can pool some charging stations together. Yeah, so maybe in a bigger house, at the universities, or in the companies where they have let's say 10 charging stations. We can pool all these cars. We have a lot more power here to provide the services, and therefore we can have a much more impact to the grid. In this case, we need some more information. Yeah, so we need a local charging station management system. Yeah, because we have to share information from one charger to another. Yeah, because we want to use all of them together. But the potential services are nearly the same, and we can have a much more impact to the grid at this point. Yeah, and the last one we can call the centralized service. Yeah, in this case we need some sort of electric vehicle control room. Yeah, so an overall control room that are all the chargers or the local controllers are connected to. Yeah, to perform a grid-wide service, like pooling a lot of cars for frequency management, or cases like this. But in this service, we have to think about some additional error handling, because all this is related to communication between the charging stations and the local controllers, and the controllers to the energy control room. Yeah, and we have to think about what happens or what will the cars do if we lose those communication here, or if we have some short interruptions. And this needs to be think about before. So if we have a look on the technical realization, sorry, it's we have some experience here from one of our projects, because all we have seen before we mostly talked about the information side and the services that can be provided by the cars. But to be honest, the cars you can buy on the market right now, they are mostly not capable to do these services, because the charger is the cheap ones, and they don't have the ability to charge specific power per line or feed energy back. So special charging system is needed for this. We have built some demonstrator in our electric vehicle project. What you can see on the left side, we have a big battery block where we can get the energy from, and we have a special charging system which allows us to set charging and discharging power directly per phase, so not only all three phases together, and where we can provide also reactive power. So it's we have a lot more options for the system charging, but of course this is little more expensive than the standard charger that is used by Volkswagen and all the other companies right now. Inside this demonstrator, we also have the ICT part, so the information and communication technologies part. It's I don't want to go this much into detail here. To sum it up, we have our flexible load on the one hand side. So that's mostly the storage system with part of the charger. And we have the grid connection where we have the power flow. And what you can see on the bottom right corner, we have the control room, the local or the global intelligence, depending on the service that we want to provide. And so we have the power flow part here in this demonstrator, and also the communication side. And this is what we are mostly building up at the moment. So we have done some research almost on the power flow part, that it's possible to we have proven that we can strengthen the grid, and in the next step we are covering the communication part here, so that we can show almost or most of the services that I have shown you in the overview. Okay, so to sum it up, what we have seen in the presentation is that, of course, the electric vehicle would change the mobility and transportation sector a lot, and that it will have a significant impact on our electrical infrastructure. If we want to achieve the goals to have carbon dioxide free mobility, we need to use the renewable energy sources to have the full benefit of electric vehicle. So we have two challenges together that we have to cover. But maybe the electric vehicles can be utilized for some grid and ancillary services, so that they will not be the reason for additional problems, but they can provide some solution for this. And in order to use the cars for this matter, we need the special chargers that I have shown you before, and the related ICT infrastructure. And something that we didn't talk at all is the regulations, because at the moment, mostly this part is very hard, because the cars are at some points not allowed to provide the services, even if they can. But I think that this will change in the future, because we have seen that cars can be used for a lot of services, and we will have to use these services to strengthen our grid in the future. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for attention, and if you have any questions, I will be pleased to answer this.
Thank you. If there is any questions, urgent questions, you can always ask them now. We will have some dedicated time at the end also.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
Hello, I'm Martin Buchan from County of Split and Dalmatia. It's very interesting presentation, thank you. But I'm interested what I think about the car sharing system, because we already know that electric charging vehicles is the second car in the family, and more than 19% of the charging are doing at home. And I know that during the night it will be a little bit problem. But what I think about car sharing system, and your idea is that electric vehicle cars will change in the perspective in the future. The car in now ordinary car, and it will be still the traffic jam in transport system. For me, it's huge problem will be with electrification of bus transport, public transport services, and I think that it will be bigger problem for the grid than this one, because is a different kind of the demand of the transport of the people. Here in Croatia we have two problems. One of them is a seasonal problem. And now when we check from this perspective of the COVID situation, people doesn't like to use public transport during this COVID situation. So they often using cars. And we invest a lot of money in charger, in this battery storage, and etc. in the future. So it's very good opportunity for the one kind of the business sector, but what it will be, maybe if we change the perspective of the transport sector, this is very good from the perspective of electricity, but what it will be with the transport. So if you just tell what are your opinion in this case?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Maybe I start with the electrification of the buses here, so the transport sector here. We have another project where we also cover this topic, how we can use, or can we provide the same services with electric buses. Because as you already said, it's another leak. So we have much more charging power and way bigger batteries. But it's mostly a matter of when we can use the cars. What we know right now is that the grid will not be able to charge a bus in a few minutes or like this. So if we want to change the public transport to electric buses and so on, there will be a need for some more buses in the backyard, let's say, so that we can exchange the buses itself. And they can go to the depot and charge with in a grid-friendly mode, let's say. And this is a quite good or an even better case from the grid side, because it's easier to plan when we have those charging capabilities in the depots. Yeah, for the private households. Yeah, we cannot say, because we have this statistical data. Yeah, when most of the people are coming home or when they're leaving, but I cannot 100% rely on this. Yeah, because maybe in the next few days, people are taking their cars and go on vacation, and the car will not be available for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we don't have this problem in the public transport area, because it's much more scheduled. So for the car sharing, yeah, I'm not sure if we can say that the same for the car sharing, because you don't have this schedule in this place. Yeah. What I imagine is, or what I'm sure about, is that the car sharing or the public transport system cannot fulfill all the needs for all people. Here, so here in Magdeburg, we are in an area with quite less public transport and a lot of space between the next cities and villages and so on. So most people they need their own car in order to come drive to their kids to school or to go to work and so on. And I think in this cases the car sharing is not an option for the people. Yeah, and as we have seen in the presentation, the problems start in the weak areas, so that pretty much matches with this point. Yeah, that people in weak areas with a lot of space between the cities have the problems first, and they will have their own cars, because you cannot send a bus to every village every minute. In the bigger cities, I think this would be the best idea would be to don't drive with your own car. Yeah, so you can take the bike or go by bus or the small trains here, and that's a totally different situation. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, of course. That is the reason, because every of the area they have some specific needs of the transportation system, of the management of the people. So in the future, this that you are already present, the big data, it will be very interesting for all of us to organize and the management of the transport system. Yeah. Thank you a lot, and I hope so. If you have some in the new perspective, if you need some associate partner or the partner, I'm very interested from the County of Split and Dalmatia to be involved in some of that project, especially in the public transport or something like that. So
yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
I'm interested for all of that. Thank you.
May I ask another question? Here's Manfred Hochwagner from the Center for Renewable Energy in Güssing in Austria. Are there any estimations or investigations already regarding a simultaneity factor That means how is the traffic distributed? Where are the possibilities to charge? We are living in a region here with a big share of commuters. So commuting is characterization of work life, and we are wondering if it could be regulated also by observing a simultaneity factor or even influencing it. Are there any experiences, any investigations? That's my question. Thank you.
So from our side, we didn't do some research in this specific field. What we have seen from our project partner here is that, of course, it makes a big difference. Even in the single phase example I showed, because with let's say if we have a little luck, all the cars are connected to different phases, and they will manage each other by themselves. But of course we cannot rely on this, and the grid has to be strengthened to for maybe not the worst case, but also not the best case, I would say. But even if we consider this simultaneous factor, we have a lot more power that is needed here, and this has to be covered by the infrastructure, which it can't be done mostly by now.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will have another time for question at the end of the session. Right now, let's maybe move on to Mr. Martin Buchan from Split Dalmatia County and the presentation on electrification of the transport sector in Split Dalmatia.
Just a minute, I share my, I'm connected by my cell phone and also by computer. So just a minute. It's need a little time.
It's loading.
I don't know what is the problem, maybe with the network today.
It's loading, so maybe. Yes,
Okay.
I can see it. Yeah.
You can see now.
Yes.
So shall we start? This is the beginning. This is the sum of the pictures of the county of Split and Dalmatia. I'm apologize. I hope so that the next meeting will be here. It will be very interesting for all of us that you came here to see our specific area and some other problems that we have here, and how we are using European money to solve that problem in the perspective. So at the beginning, this is the county of Split and Dalmatia. We are the largest county in Croatia. It is 21 country. We have about 500,000 inhabitants, but during the summer season, the last measure that we have at 2019, the biggest summer season, but it is doubled and even more. So we have 16 cities, 39 municipalities. The center of the county is city of Split. So we are three different specific activities in sustainable transport, because we have our islands with a lot of people during the summer season. We have Adriatic coast area, and we have rural part of the county of Split in Dalmatia. It's very close to the border with the Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we also need when we speak and think about the transport, how it will be connected with the people with the Bosnia, because a lot of them are the main center for all of them is city of Split for the hospital or some other reason. So we are started using 2014 in this transport sector, the project Cross-Border Cooperation between Croatia and Italy, Interreg project, and it was Intermodal project. The general goal is promotion of intermodality of the area of the county and Split through the creation of the pilot network of intermodal hubs. It is the implemented, it's starting, and it was the building up the first network of the electric charger station. We didn't know any of this data that our colleagues from the Fraunhofer Institute already know. We are just want to build up something, and through that project we detected several project activities. One of them is program of the islands connection, application for the analytic monitoring of the movement of the tourists in the county of Split in Dalmatia, the application of the counting public bus lines, program of the co-financing of the transport cost of the students and the school pupils in the hinterland part of the county of Split. And this is the pilot activity that we already just to check because we didn't have too much money to buy some electric boats or hydrogen boats. We are thinking how to use fast ferry ships, and it is to co-founding increasing the frequency of the boats. So the namely county co-finance additional fast line of the relation Split Sholta and Split Brač, Split Hvar. So that is one of the part of the problem. The county wanted to have the detailed analysis of the traffic flow between different parts of the county to use the basis to improve traffic connection, the bus lines, connection between islands, boat, ferry, and the bus scheduling, to develop that intermodal hubs in general. The following information and indicators will be provided. The aggregate number of the people a certain time interval passes by the defined location. Socio-demographic characteristic of the group. This is the local residents and tourists, direction of the movement, the footfall statistics, and all of that during the period of 2 years. We have also additional 2 years. We are using the data from before the GDPR with Croatian Telecom. They give that services of the heat maps, the big data, and we have more than 50 points of interest when we are collected the data for all of the county. And after that, we are using also that data for the organize the public electric charging station. We are making Opel call. More than 30 companies and different people are calling on that open call. We are using some specific area. One of them is airport of Split, 2 hotels in the center of the Split, shopping center mall, and also 50 kilometers far away charging station in Makarska, also on the hotel. For the beginning, we want to establish some maybe car sharing system from the airport to hotels, because we are seeing that foreign people are coming by the Tesla, and they need to charge electric vehicles on some charger station. So it was very useful experience for all of us. It's collected and a lot of newspapers and the public network are collecting, and it was very interesting to see what it will hear. From the perspective of the cars, we build up 5 networks, and in our county we didn't have registered maybe 5 or 10 cars. Now its number is very, very larger, and now we have more than 200 electric vehicles, cars registered in the county of Split and Dalmatia. But that number, because of the subvention from the National Fund of Environmental Protection, are more than 10,000 euros. They co-financing buying electric vehicle cars. So that cars it will be, and needs for the network charging station, it will be more and more. So now the charging station that is the most interesting for all of us, how it will be connected, because included in roaming platform and visibility of the international market, because when you are traveling by the electric vehicle, you need to manage your travel and to see where is the charging station, what is the specific need. Do you need a RDFI card, or you can connect it with your cell phone with query code or something like that? And if it is open electric vehicle station or not. And that was from that project, it was already tested. And after that, we take another project, also cross-border cooperation between Croatia and Italy, Step Up. It was capitalization of the project of intermodality. Also, it is the promotion of the multimodal passengers mobility, facility access to the offer services, combination aspect of the transport and tourism in the global context. That is also very interesting for us, and capitalization of intermodal project efforts and result. So this is the activity. We are just collected all the data. We have 10 charging stations and preparing at the coast, but we didn't have anything in the rural part. So we are also see the relation of the location to connect it with the cycling routes and the traffic network of the county of Split and Dalmatia to manage, and also to involve that cross-border cooperation to connect it and closer for the people that they are going in Bosnia, because in the Bosnia you have in whole Bosnia maybe 5 or 10 electric charger station. I know that now Volkswagen and Porsche are build up some network, but it is only for the for them for the users of that cars. It is not allowed, I think so, for the another one. So it was the last point. We are try to scope of that pilot integration, that to collect all of that traffic of the bus on demand, Flixbus, and some other provider, and collecting and connection all of that data in GTFS data, and integration with the platform PuniHire, that is the central platform for the electric charging vehicles in Croatia and also in Slovenia. Its challenges is not existing infrastructure for the setting up of filling station, impossibility of the obtain electrical connection from Croatian electric power company, collection GTFS data and data in digital format in general, and the integration point of interest with the portal and platform, problem of the operation of the back office tool that you already mentioned. So the development of the e-charging station are the necessary infrastructure created the basis of the development of the potential intermodality and multimodality through the transport by creating prediction of the strength of the smart and green mobility sector, possible car sharing and bike sharing services, and reducing emission from the transport sector. And this is the other activities that we also working in the county of Split and Dalmatia in transport sector. We are waiting to finish the public procurement master plan of the traffic development of functional region Central Dalmatia, and include two county of Split and Dalmatia and Šibenik Knin. Also, we have the project Sutra, the tender projects in introduction of the public cycling system in the city Solin, Trilj, Sinj, and the municipality of Klis at 6 locations. And also the charging equipment and 2 racks for the parking electric vehicles and 4 racks for the parking classic vehicles, as well in implementation of charging station for the electric vehicles and the boats in the county of Split in Dalmatia. Now the location, it is not the Split, but small harbor in Podstrana. Also, the huge project, the Choose the Baikal, is very interesting for me, because I was in associate partner with Project Remedio Crossborder Interreg Mediterranean, when we are developed the studies and the first cycling network in the county of Split, in the city of Split. And after that project are finished, it's the budget was about 200,000 euros. We developed the strategy, and in that strategy, they are going in bigger strategy of agglomeration of city of Split with 13 cities and municipalities. And it's include about 2 million euros that establish and develop the public cycling system in the urban agglomeration of Split as alternative from the public transport. And through this project in this area of agglomeration, it will develop the 41 new station with 222 cycling, and it will be set up to bicycle roads that it will be established, one in the Trogir place and other in the city of Split. So it is very interesting how to use European money, and from one, I don't know, a small seed, you are looking how is it growing and growing and growing in something bigger and bigger, and that is something that is very happy for all of us. Also, this is very interesting for us. It's project joint SECAP. The main goal of the project, increase the knowledge and capacity of the local authorities and climate change adaptation. It's developed the SECAP, and one of the main reason, main goals of the SECAP is reducing of CO2, and especially it is interesting for us to do that in transport system. So we are working that for the islands of Brač, and we are finished with that project these days. So we hope so in the future to make some capitalization of that. Also, we are involved in Alpe Adria Green Transport Service. We are a member of the fuel cells and hydrogen joint undertaking, and we are prepared with FESB faculty from Split Swordfish application. We are still expect some result, but I hope so that we are. I know that we are not passes, but we now check what it is the problem. And also from Interreg Mediterranean, we are finished the project Green Mind, and we know that all that you are already speak, that it will be problem for who will do that battery station and implement all that stuff that we need. So we need to make encourage development of the economic competitiveness and innovation in green and smart mobility industry to build up our SMEs from the regional perspective to be a provider for the future. So thank you for your attention. If you have some question, I'm very glad to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions at that point? If not, we will move on to the NOEMIX project presented by engineer Sebastiano Cacheguera. I believe that Mr. Cacheguera will have a translator also here present.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Yeah. Good morning.
Sono presente e ho un mio traduttore che è l'architetto Stefania Masuino, ma leggerò la presentazione in inglese e poi sarò ovviamente a disposizione per le domande.
So hi everybody, I'm gonna translate Cacheguera's interventions, but he will be happy to read the presentation by himself in English, and at the end of the presentation I'm absolutely available for any translation, for question, and so far and so on. So I will set up the presentation and Cacheguera will proceed with the presentation. Can you see the screen?
Yes, not. Could you put it on the full screen? Yes, yes, we can see it. Yeah.
New Mobility in Friuli Venezia Giulia, NOEMIX. NOEMIX by NEMO, Research and Innovation in Friuli Venezia Giulia Public Administration. NOEMIX is the new e-mobility service for the public administration developed by NEMO, New Mobility in Friuli Venezia Giulia, a European project funded by Horizon 2020 program. The program intends to contribute to the translation to a low carbon economy by reducing urban pollution caused by ECE vehicles. With NOEMIX, Friuli Venezia Giulia is a candidate to be the first region in which a substantial share of the company vehicles of public regional bodies will be replaced by e-vehicles. By aggregating the needs of different public administration, we will move from the current model based on the purchase of cars to one based on a centralized e-mobility service managed by private operators. Besides the e-vehicles rental and the management of an optimization software for the PA mobility, NOEMIX provides for the installation of charging infrastructures and the production of energy from renewable sources. NOEMIX will introduce about 500 e-cars, 250 charging infrastructures, tied to a renewable energy production plan, which will guarantee 50% of the requested electricity supply, while the remaining 50% will be purchased from certified green energy. The partners are Regione Autonoma Friuli Venezia Giulia, Area Science Park, Università degli Studi di Trieste, ANIASA, BIT SPA, Promoscience. The project phases. The first is the Constitution PA panel, establishment of the regional PA panel coordinated by the FVG region. The members of the panel are the reference expressly indicated by the entities that decide to join the activities envisaged by the project. Technical feasibility study. A feasibility study was produced on the basis of the data and analysis mobility needs of the participant public institutions. The result constitutes the input for the elaboration of a business plan, which will be functional to the development of specific financial scheme. Preparation of tender documents. A tender procedure will be launched to request and assign a TACME service that includes the supply, installation of electric vehicles, charging infrastructures, management software, photovoltaic systems. Tender publication. Legal instruments and procedures for the acquirement of the most suitable service for the project will be identified thanks to the support of legal and administrative expertise. Service start. NOEMIX will ensure in 5 years the replacement of the part of the vehicles of the entire entities interested in the project. The participating regional PA will pay a fee directly to the regional administration, which today will have signed a formal agreement, which in turn will pay an annual global fee to the private operator, provider of integrated mobility services. The panel composition is in this slide, and you can see there are 18 administrations that are the Regione Autonoma Friuli Venezia Giulia, Area Science Park, Università degli Studi di Trieste, Università degli Studi di Udine, IRCCS, Materno Infantile Burlo Garofalo is Hospital, Azienda Autonoma Universitaria Giuliano Isontina SUGI is Unità Sanitaria Locale is like a big there are many hospitals and something else, and the same is for the Azienda Sanitaria Universitaria Friuli Centrale and Azienda Sanitaria Friuli Occidentale. There are also for comuni municipality, Trieste, Udine, Gorizia, and Pordenone that are the bigger in the region. Trieste Airport, l'autorità portuale di sistema portuale del Mare Adriatico Orientale, that is the authority of the port of Trieste, Monfalcone, and Portonogaro. FVG Strade is a society that work on streets. Consorzio di bonifica della pianura friulana is provo a tradurre consorzio che si occupa della bonifica appunto dell'area della pianura friulana.
So it's a consortium which take cares about the land like reclamation, like taking care about the water within the land. So let's say water reclamation about lands.
And ARPA FVG is the Agenzia regionale per la protezione dell'ambiente.
So ARPA is the entity which is in charge of the environment protection.
Vai avanti. Ecco, the NOEMIC service, electric vehicle rental, column wall box management software. The FVG region will cover the price differential between the current budget's cost of each individual entity participating in the project and the actual cost of the NOEMIC's fees. The region will therefore act as a single contracting station. Thank you for your attention. Sono a disposizione per le domande.
So if there's any question, Cacciaguera is available for every answer.
Any questions?
Hello. I didn't understand who will financing all of that. Did you try to find some money for Crossborder Corporation or some others?
Allora, Martin Buchan chiede chi sta finanziando tutto questo, se stiamo cercando insomma dei finanziamenti in qualche modo o insomma. Manca l'audio.
Microphone.
Scusate, la Regione Friuli Venezia Giulia ha messo in piedi un sistema per cui una parte dei fondi saranno recuperati tramite il pagamento da parte di chi partecipa dei costi storici delle auto che vengono cambiate, diciamo, che vengono rottamate, e dall'altra parte quello che manca è finanziato direttamente dall'amministrazione regionale.
So the financial comes from two main actors. One is the public entity, the region, Friuli Venezia Giulia. And the second one, it's according to every participant. So basically, every participant will pay a fee, which is the difference from the historical... Prego?
Digli che si tratta praticamente dell'assicurazione, del bollo di circolazione, dei costi di manutenzione, dei costi del carburante, delle vecchie auto, e il resto invece spiegagli.
Okay. So within this plan, every entity who agrees to participate is giving back an old car and will receive an e-car. Therefore, the costs that they will assume are the same costs they will have had with the old cars, which means the insurance, the same cost that they would have put for the fuel. But of course, in this moment, we don't put any fuel because we have the electricity. So let's say the public entities who are participating to the project are relieved by the costs of the e-car, but they pay a fee in the same way they would have done with ICE car. So this is how we do encourage the public entities to participate to the system, but at the same time to be respectful of the costs, because that's something that they would have had anyway. Volevi aggiungere altro?
No, se vuole chiedere qualcosa io sono a disposizione.
Any other question or curiosity, or maybe about how it works?
Grazie, signore Sebastiano, grazie mille.
Grazie.
Are there any more questions? So I have one question from Mr. Martin. As experienced as you are, your region is in electromobility. What would you say were the challenges in organization structure of development of electromobility in Split-Dalmatia country?
It was very interesting because political don't like too much that, and I have a lot of problem, and I do that open public procurement that people who want to do that are involved and co-financing to cover one part of the cost. So I didn't use because in the middle of the county we have high roads, and I was thinking what it will the most interested for the people which charger station to develop, because we have some extraordinary cost if you build up more than 22 kilowatts to pay additional power for Croatian National Electric Company. So we are choosing that 22 kilowatts, and we co-financing to test these services from European project. We are tested and see what is the at the end what is the result. After we finish that services, we give the opportunity to electric charging people who give us services and the owner of the location to see what it will be with this station of the management of the station. Hotels cover the cost of the charging. Some other restaurants give the opportunity to pay only few costs, and if you are using electric cars and using that station with the query code, you have, I don't know, 15% less price in the museum or something like that. And the funny thing is, after that we are build up the first network, private company from Slovenia came in Split, and they are opening rent a car, and they give opportunity to electric cars to that people rent electric cars. So a lot of people from Scandinavia that ordinarily have a habit to use electric cars, they are using for 7 days electric cars and travel all the county for free, because they know that we are putting electric charging station in some point of interest, and that people are came there, and minimal spend, I don't know, 1.5 hours to charge the car, because you don't spend the battery storage to the end. So you need maybe 1.5 hours, and they are using that opportunity for visited that small places, especially in the rural part. So every few days, the mayor of the city calling me, Martin, the Tesla are coming, people are see that, and it was very, very funny things. And our politician, when I said, okay, we must put the electric charging station in the rural part, they said, but they don't need it, they don't have electric cars. Yes, I said, okay, I agree with you, but what now? We must invest in that, and especially in rural part, because nobody have the reason to do that feasibility study. They don't show that you build up that network in the rural part. So I said, okay, we have European money to develop something, to check something, and at the end, if there is
I think
that we have European money to test it and check and see what it will be in the future. And for us as a political decision maker, it is very necessary to see what it will be and how to prepare our program. So this that Signore Sebastiano are presented, it was very interesting for us. Maybe to build up and to promote electric vehicles and electric station in the university and other municipalities, and also our county to be as Friuli Venezia Giulia the first county in Dalmatia that all our cars will be electric. I hope so in the future. Thank you.
let's hope so. Yes. Are there any more questions for our speakers?
Volevo aggiungere solo una cosa, se Stefania mi traduce, se posso.
Sebastiano Cacciaguerra would like to add something else if we have a tiny little
Yes,
moment.
of course.
Perfect. Prego, prego.
Ora, uno dei problemi che noi abbiamo, non per Noemix, ma più in generale per lo sviluppo delle infrastrutture di ricarica, riguarda sostanzialmente il fatto che sia molto difficile riuscire a dare dei contributi per la realizzazione delle stesse. Perché?
Un attimo, possiamo fare fino qua?
Sì.
Okay. Okay, so one of the issue that we find, not that much with the Noemix program, but with the development of the infrastructure, of the charging infrastructure, is due to the difficulties that we find out in how to support this to happen. Prego.
Questo perché nel momento in cui noi diamo dei soldi a qualcuno per la realizzazione delle colonnine, in realtà quei soldi poi vengono utilizzati per far realizzare colonnine a aziende che vendono energia elettrica e che quindi hanno un ritorno economico dalla vendita appunto dell'energia.
Okay, so the issue is because whenever we give money to make these recharging stations, usually these are given to society, which are themselves making money out of the fact of having recharging or columns or wall boxes. So recharging stations. And that's an issue because we give money in order to support the electricity system and the grid to be extended. But at the same time, we have to avoid the direct profit because we cannot do it as a public administration. Prego.
E quindi il problema è che si va a ricadere nel sistema degli aiuti di Stato e quindi nel regolamento europeo degli aiuti di Stato. E si chiama GBER.
GBER si chiama?
Sì.
Ah, ok, grazie. Okay, so whenever we do this, so which means to help directly a society, then this is not, this becomes a GBER?
GBER.
GBER.
Il regolamento aiuti di Stato.
So basically, it is a regulation about the helps given by the states.
E quindi
by the nation, yeah.
E quindi questo è un problema non solo per l'Italia, ma ovviamente per l'intero sistema europeo.
Ah, ok.
Dovrà in qualche modo essere migliorato e regolato.
So therefore, the issue we found is not just for our Italian system, but this would be a transversal problem for any other European government, which will try to give this support, but then it would be incorrectly translated into a GBER. GBER? GBER, sorry. Scusate, sorry.
Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any last questions? Because our time is almost up. If not, I want to again thank you so much for the speakers to spend some time with us and to share their experience. And thank you all to participants. And I hope we will see each other on some next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.